Hey, welcome back to Under Contract. We are on episode 2, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in last week. Episode 1 was a big hit. We had about 1,600 views this week on Facebook Live, so I want to thank everyone for that. And this is the show that we're going to come to you every week at 3 o'clock on Wednesdays to really help connect the dots in real estate, whether you're a realtor, whether you're a lender, a builder, a developer, a title agent, whatever your role is in real estate, we're going to connect the dots each week here, and today is no exception. In fact, I have a really special treat today, and we'll get into the introduction in a moment, but we have Sean V. Bradley, the author of Googleopoly. And really what we're talking about today, we're focusing on how to get our name, either as an individual or a business, on the top of the charts when it comes to organic Google searches. You know, the game has really changed because, you know, the realtor who is trying to get the big billboard sign, you know, in the middle of town, those days are gone and over with. We know that our consumers and our customers, they're searching online before they do anything. They're typically doing it from their mobile device. So we're going to focus on some key ways. And today we're going to really specifically focus on the video aspect, because that, and we'll find out from Sean the kind of the tips and tricks, if you will. But that is one way to really get those organic searches up there on the first page. So we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But I want to also bring up a couple more things. You know, we have I tweeted out earlier in the week, and I also put it on Facebook Live, that if you tuned in today, you would have a shot at winning a 2017 Corvette. And that is the real deal. There is a giveaway every year. Our local dealership, Stingray Chevrolet, does a drawing and a giveaway of a 2017 Corvette at our Strawberry Festival here locally. And I have secured tickets for our listeners, and we're going to select 2 to 3 each week between now and March 12th. And we're going to be live for the drawing on March 12th so that you can actually see if you possibly maybe have won that 2017 Corvette. How cool would that be? Mr. Lou, are you on the mic?
Oh, yes, I am. Right. That'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be really super cool, obviously. But here's the thing. You know, what's even cooler is getting yourself in a position in this industry to where you don't really have to win a Corvette. You can go out and buy as many as you want. And we're going to, you know, talk about another way to position yourself in that way today. So remember to share this post. You can do it on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at Desking Deals, and you'll want to tweet out the hashtag Under Contract. And if you want to try to call in today, maybe ask a question to Sean when he comes on, the phone number here is 813-574-1820. If we can get you on, we certainly will. So without further ado, I want to intro our guest today. And, you know, he's no stranger to me. I called him a friend in the car business. And Sean is the owner of Dealer Synergy. He goes around to dealerships all over the country helping to train and set up internet departments. And he is also involved in real estate. He has his own real estate property company. And without further ado, he is the best-selling author of Googleopoly, Win the Game of Googleopoly. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you, my friend, so much for having me. It's great being here.
Thank you, Sean. You know, I couldn't wait to get you on the show because, you know, I've taken advantages of some of the things that I found in the book. And quite frankly, you know, a lot of it, I'm an old school guy and I'm not very tech savvy. So a lot of it, you may have to dumb down some of this stuff for me today, because we're going to talk about, we're going to really focus on what is chapter 5 in your book, which is the video SEO. Obviously, video is really huge in real estate and plays a big role in those Google rankings. So if you would, before we get into specific questions, maybe just share with our viewers and listeners how important the video aspect is as far as adding that to, you know, to your strategy when it comes to Google ranking.
Yeah, okay, so the bottom line, people, is this, is that there's nothing more important and nothing more powerful than video, period. Drop mic, get off the stage, that's it. If that's all you have time to listen to this interview is that one intro statement, that's enough, because Google says, not Sean Bradley, not anybody else, Google says that video is the most dominant, most powerful piece of medium or content consumed off of its search engines, to the point where a video that's on the first page of Google will get clicked on 53 times more than any other piece of content. So let's be clear. I'm not saying 53%. I'm saying 53 times. You know, have you ever said the phrase 5 times, 10 times, 20 times? Well, upgrade that phrase to 53 times more click-through. Fact one. Fact two is that Dr. McQueedy from Forrester Research says that 1 minute of video is equal to 1.8 million written words. So we've heard the phrase, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I'm here to tell you that 1 minute of video is equivalent to 1.8 million written words, because you've got sight, sound, motion, and emotion. Furthermore, video in an email increases read open rates by 200 to 300%. So, David, its bottom line is this, is that video is the most powerful piece of content. It's the most powerful consumed content on planet Earth right now.
Yeah, and Sean, thank you. And, you know, I want to clear up a couple of misconceptions also. I think oftentimes we think of when we, start thinking about doing video, that number one, it has to be some production quality type of video. And the other thing that I wanted you to touch on as well, another misconception, is that as an individual, am I going to really be able to compete on a Google search with these huge companies? Why don't you talk about that for just a moment?
Absolutely. So things have evolved since when I first wrote the book. When I first wrote Win the Game with Googleopoly a couple of years ago, it was basically that any type of video is okay. It was the video the content itself that was optimized, which was the catalyst to success. In my professional opinion, I definitely think that video quality does matter nowadays, but it's not because of the technology on Google. So let me clarify, all right, because I don't want people to get confused here. As far as for you to be able to index and achieve domination on page one of Google, no. Video that you could create off your cell phone could be just as highly ranked or higher ranked than a Fortune 100 500 corporation utilizing, a George Lucas or Steven Spielberg technology. So on an SEO level, on an optimization level, and on a bottom line technology success level, no. You do not have to use, high-end technology. However, people are getting spoiled. I mean, David, if you think about it, we live in an instant gratification type world nowadays, where people are constantly, want it now. It's the millennial mindset. I want instant gratification. I want instant coffee. I want drive-through liquor stores. They want their damn content, and so they've been spoiled with companies like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube especially. And so what's happening is, to compete with content, for the user, it's definitely higher quality video is preferred. And since we're talking about real estate here, as you mentioned before, I have a multi-million-dollar portfolio, real estate portfolio. We own numerous properties that are rental properties as well as commercial business properties for business. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a business owner, if I'm going to look at commercial property, I'm damn sure not going to look at some ghetto video that's got cerebral palsy, shaking hands, and it's wavy, and then as a potential, renter or potential, person that wants to rent a condo or a townhouse, again, or if I'm going to buy a property, I don't want to look at property, through video that's low quality. I'm looking at 1080p or 4K, results, because if not, I'm going to drop that video, even if it indexes first, and go to a better quality video to make my decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, Sean. It does. And, one of the things that when I kind of took away from the book, and again, not being as tech savvy as a lot of younger individuals, or other individuals, should I say, I kind of had to dumb it down. And when I think of the overall concept of the Google ranking, I kind of imagine this big guy from Google with a scorecard and a checklist. And if I go down and check off every box, then my ranking is going to go up. And you can tell me if I'm on the right track there. But one of the things that you mentioned in the book that I do want to check off on the box, if you will, is this idea of facial recognition. And I think that that's not just like my face, but types of things like logos and things like that. Talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, let me just go back just a little bit to set it up a little bit so it makes more sense.
Absolutely.
100%. If you think of it like a checklist, I say this in the book and I say this when I teach and I train and I speak, is that you can't trick Google. You know, we've heard that phrase before, the cliche, happy wife, happy life. Well, it's really simple. Happy Google, profitable business. You feel me?
Nice.
So again, there's no real way to trick Google. What you got to do is understand what Google wants and what Google expects, and then it all will make sense. And so, yes, to a primitive analogy, but yes, I would concur that there is like a checklist. It's like, you know, the do's of search engine optimization. And the best way before I go into the facial recognition is to understand that a video is exactly similar or alike compared to a full-blown website. So let's go to the correlation. A website has a URL. Well, so does a video on YouTube. A website has HTML code. So does a video. It's called embedded code. A website has title tags, descriptions. So does a video. A website is going to have anchor text, content, and backlinks. So does a video. A website is going to be geo-targeted off of like Google Maps, and so does a video. Again, so pretty much if you think of it this way, is that an individual video that is uploaded onto like a YouTube or a Vimeo, but let's just say YouTube, to make everybody understand this, it's like you're building a full-blown website from scratch without the complexities. It's very, very simple to do. Now, another comparison, another way, David, I'd like to explain this is that, David, you played Scrabble before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so think of Scrabble to me as like regular SEO. So Scrabble, if you put C-A-T, spells cat, and it's like one-dimensional. For you to change letters, you've got to turn and put them at the end or in front of or, what have you, but it's one-dimensional, and that's Scrabble, and that's regular SEO. So now, the way to understand video optimization, it's like the next level optimization because it's multi-level. It's like 3D. There's a game. Have you ever heard of a game called Upwards, David?
I have not.
Okay, so some of your listeners, they might have seen a game called Upwards. Upwards is exactly like Scrabble, except with one tweak. The tweak is that you could stack the letters upwards, hence the name Upwards. So it's now multi-dimensional. So instead of just spelling C-A-C cat for 3 points or what have you, you could put an H on top of the C, and now you change that word from cat to hat. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so again, so those pieces, so you can imagine you're given those 7 pieces, those 7 letters, they're only used in Scrabble one-dimensionally. However, by playing the new rules of Upwards, you could make a lot more combination in words. Does that make sense?
It does.
So that's the correlation here. Like Scrabble is to traditional SEO, what Upwards is to video optimization, because there's 2 additional things that are made. There's multiple things, but there's 2 additional things that you could do with video optimization that is just not available for regular SEO on a regular website. And you touched on the first one. The first one is what's called facial recognition or pattern recognition technology. And without sounding melodramatic, just like the FBI has, facial recognition, or the NSA, when they're trying to find terrorists, by facial recognition, well, that is at a more primitive or a simplistic form, the same concept for facial recognition and video optimization. And then pattern recognition is, like you said, logos. So if you go to Google and you just type in the word Nike or Nike sneaker, you're not only going to see the word Nike, but you're going to see the swoosh. Well, how the hell does Google know that the letters Nike equal a swoosh? Because after so many times of being optimized with those letters are correlated, and they're synergistic, they're symbiotic with the word Nike. Same thing with Barack Obama. You type in the words Barack Obama into Google, it's going to be a picture of our former president, and because that's what's called pattern recognition.
Right.
So as it correlates to optimization, if you've got a video, let's relate this towards real estate.
Let's.
I want to show up for optimization, let's just say in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is just a hypothetical, example here.
Yes.
And I would turn around and I want to turn around and list my apartment complex or an apartment or a townhouse or a row home or what have you. I would use the basic keywords like the best apartment in Philadelphia, dash maybe the zip code or something like that. Now, that's regular, titled optimization, but what I would do is I would actually have pictures of this actual apartment building or apartment, and video. I would actually have video of the actual apartment complex, the townhouse, the row home, etc. Now, because I want to be able to capture in the video the picture recognition, the image recognition, the pattern recognition to reinforce the text and the conventional optimization.
Yeah.
Then there's a step further. There's something called voice recognition technology or speech recognition technology. And it's really simple. If you think of Siri, if you think of Amazon Echo, if you think of, Google, searching, just on regular Google with a microphone, how are they able to do that? Because there's what people don't realize is that MP3 audio, right? MP3s, they have metadata. They have the ability to be optimized. So you can actually optimize the speech or pattern recognition of your voice. So, for example, using that analogy I just gave you before that example, if I want to list a property in Philadelphia for a row home or an apartment, not only am I going to shoot video footage of me in that specific apartment or condo or townhouse I'm trying to rent or list, but I'm also going to be using the specific keywords in my speech. Now, I want them to all match. Just like in regular SEO, you want your description, you want your title, you want your content, you want your backlinks, all to be relevant for the objective of whatever you're trying to dominate on page one of Google. Same concept here, but those are Scrabble rules. But if we're playing upwards rules, if we're playing video optimization rules, not only do I want the keywords and text in my description, on my page, all that stuff, and the backlinks to say literally the best apartment for rent in Philadelphia is boom, 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 right? Not only do I want it to say it in text, but I also want to show it visually through video, and I want to narrate it or oratory, be able to articulate it as well. So now I'll have a trifecta. I'll have, the visual through video, the sound through and speech through my audio, and I'll have the conventional text with the actual keywords and content. Does that all make sense?
It does, because I've read through your chapter in the book that talks about that, and essentially just to again for me to kind of dumb it down, it means that now you're getting kind of 3 additional points in that overall scoring system with the language, the facial, and then the text version of that. Now, and let's just make it even simpler. Let's say that if I'm a realtor and I'm standing in front of a property and I talk about a property and put it on video, versus me doing that same exact thing and maybe having the RE/MAX sign right next to me, is that going to help me by standing next to the RE/MAX sign when it comes to that facial recognition? Here's absolutely, it depends on the keywords. See, this is if it's relevant, okay? And I talk about this in the book as well, is that you don't want to spam and dilute your SEO relevancy, which means that you don't want to turn around and put all the keywords. So let's correlate to cars, right? If I'm a Ford dealership, I don't want to say that the Ford is better than the Chevy, the Dodge, the Chrysler, the Ram, and so on and so on, because you only have so much SEO juice. It's like if you've got a 6-ounce cup of liquid in it, and let's just say, for example, you have 5 ounces of actual water and then 1 ounce of, sugar or sweetener or what have you. You see what I'm saying? There's only so much volume you can have. You want to have as much purity as you possibly can. So I would shoot multiple videos. So again, if I want to turn around and trigger the keywords on a specific property, then I want my visuals and my audio to be just about that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a collage, and I don't want to be like a circus show and have all these different things I'm trying to trigger. You want to keep focused. But if you want to turn around and focus your stuff on real estate agent or realtor,
or real estate agency or something like that, if that's the focus of that video, then absolutely the Century 21 or the Remax or the Weichert, signage and branding and articulation would make sense. But you know what I mean? So again, you want to be ultra specific. And the best part about video is that you can just keep shooting more and more and more content where it's not really even close to being realistic to just keep building multiple websites. You know what I mean? Without being massively redundant and uncost effective.
Yeah, that gets
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It gets very fascinating in the book and talking about those individual URLs for each video. We're almost out of time, but I want to run one more thing by you. You talked about the spamming, and I made this mistake with my videos. I put in, everything I could think of that people would type in as a search word and just plastered it on my video description, which I found out was a no-no in your book. But the one thing I did want to pull out before we wrap it up is I thought this was a very key thing. When I was in chapter 5 of your book, Sean, you talked about in the video description, when you put your description of the video in YouTube, that you want to have your contact information on the first line. Share with the viewers why that's so big.
I absolutely, simply because most people don't realize there's a show me more button. So when you're watching a video on YouTube, and when you look at the description, it's usually 2 lines. Usually 2 lines, but most people don't even put their contact information there. And if they do, they don't put it the first 2 lines, and nobody ever sees it because almost nobody ever clicks the show me more or the expanded view of the description. So what I said in the book is, and I agree, with your thoughts, it is important, is that as a realtor or as a business person, the number one thing you want is some type of conversion, a call to action. You're not, unless you're trying to be Steven Spielberg or be like a producer of a TV show or something like that. It's there for business. So what do you want? You either want somebody to, call you or email you, message you, or some type of create a lead. And so you want, the most important thing is your phone number and your URL or email address that's right there. And especially if you've got a phone number, what you want to be able to do is know that most people access their video consumption through a mobile device. And if you have a phone number there, almost always it's going to be a click to call. So if they see your phone number there, it's so easy for them to press their thumb or their index finger and just click to call you as they are excited about what your video is about.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to have to wrap it up, but I wanted to... Oh, just a moment. We have actually a question that the producers
We actually got a question from Facebook from Shah Lockett. She asked, in your description of videos, should hashtags help or be just unnecessary?
Unnecessary. What you would do is this, as it relates to optimization, understand there's 2 levels to this. And again, what medium? If you're in YouTube, hashtags are not going to be very relevant. Hashtags are great for Instagram, and hashtags are great on Facebook. So we've got to be careful here about the optimization. You can't really optimize videos thoroughly on Facebook. YouTube is a great incubator, and so is Vimeo. To be honest with you, Flickr as well as Pinterest are great, what I call social media incubators for video optimization. I will say this, though, and this is very, very important, guys and ladies listening to this, is that you want to turn and follow the rules of engagement for SEO. Too many times, what people do is they don't optimize content the right way. Use every resource that YouTube offers you, from the geo-target to the title to the description. So follow the normal rules of engagement, which are simple: unique and relevant content. You want unique and relevant content. Don't just cut and paste stuff in there to optimize.
Great. Thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it. Hey, Sean, I can't thank you enough for being on the show today. I really sincerely mean that. I have so much respect for what you've done, especially the pride from knowing that you got started in the car business and what you've been able to do in your career. It's just amazing. And, I want to...
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you tell viewers how to get your book? I'm assuming that it would just be go on Amazon or something like that, right?
It's Amazon. Yeah. When the book first launched, it was all over Barnes & Nobles. I'm signed to a major publisher, so they could find it through Barnes & Noble, through Hudson Booksellers, but Amazon is probably the best way. It's even on Audible, so if you like the audio version, it's actually me, I'm sorry, it's not James Earl Jones, but you got me that's going to arcade it.
I appreciate that. I love it. It's funny because knowing you, anytime, I don't know if you go through the same thing, but when you know an author and then you read the book, like when I read it, I'm like hearing your voice talking to me as I'm reading it, which is kind of cool. But anyway, hey, I appreciate you being on the show, Sean.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
Follow me on Facebook, everybody. Sean V. Bradley.
Absolutely. Okay.
Bye.
Well, that wraps up our session with Sean V. Bradley. Again, there's so much information. You pulled a couple of nuggets today. There's so much in this book. Don't hesitate. Get on it and get this book, How to Win at the Game of Googleopoly, and make sure that you're ranking up there on the first page. And it can be done really, really quickly, sometimes in the same day. So check that out. So, a few key takeaways for me today, because it's time for the takeaway. Drum roll, right, Ezra? Okay, so, thank you. So, the facial recognition and the language recognition to me was a huge thing, because like Sean talked about, and I guess you have to put it into context, and you can go back and listen to his comments when we talked about this, but doing a video and matching up the language of the video, in other words, what we're talking about, to the actual text that we're going to put in the description, and then the facial recognition of brands and logos in the background, I think was huge. There's also, and we didn't really get into it too much, but I know in the book, Sean talks about how to also capture people who are Google searching your competition. And essentially the example he used, and he barely touched on it here today, but let's just say, for example, that you want to compare the Toyota Camry with the Honda Accord. When you make that video and you tie in all of those things, now someone who, maybe you're selling the Toyota Camry, and now someone comes along and they're interested in a Honda Accord, and they type in, Honda Accord dealers in Tampa, and all of a sudden you are at the top of the list with your Toyota and Honda comparison. They're going to click on that, and that gives you the opportunity to capture that lead when you're not even selling the product that they initially look for. So it gets pretty cool. So definitely check that book out. Okay, so my producer is telling me it's time to pay some bills. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back. You're watching Under Contract Live on Facebook.
Hey guys, this is Dave Villa, host of Game Changer Salescast. And listen, you don't want to miss next week's show, February 6th at noon Eastern. We have Becky Farias. She is a beast when it comes. She's a true game changer in the arena of timeshare sales, in the top 1% of timeshare sales in the United States of America. Is that a game changer? I think so. Listen, you and I duck calls from timeshare salespeople. She knows how to not only get through, she'll sell your butt. She'll show anybody in any sales how to move the needle. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to interview her. She is a game changer. Next Monday, February 6th, noon on Salescast.
I have been using Serial Sales Pro for a little more than 2 years now.
I highly recommend it to anybody who's either just getting in sales. I don't care if you've been in sales 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are.
The shorter videos allows me to keep my concentration and also gives me more of a chance to actually apply that knowledge.
I've learned how to close deals better and be more effective in my communication with these customers.
I think what Serial Sales Pro does for me, it just keeps me sharp, keeps my edge sharp.
My income has literally tripled in the last 3 years.
This year, I'm already slated to make about 50 grand more than I made last year.
I've doubled my income from what I made last year.
It's definitely increased my income, and a lot of that came from what I learned right from Serial Sales Pro.
It's really turned my whole sales career around.
And keeps me ready to get to the next level.
So if you're not plugged in to it, get involved right away.
Hi, I'm Robbie with RMT Media. I specialize in video production for real estate. Let's face it, in today's market, video is the new curb appeal. Even if somebody drives by your listing, the first thing they're going to do is pull their phone out, take a look at that property online. Whether you're selling a $200,000 home in Central Florida, or multi-million-dollar estate in Palm Beach, Florida, or San Francisco, California, or maybe you need some aerial footage for a site acquisition, email me today and let's get started. Robbie at rmtmedia.net.
Hey, and we're back live on Under Contract, and it is the time in the show where we feature a Realtor of the Week. And how you were selected for that is by me personally. And, really the criteria is simply this. It's going along with the theme of the show. When we open up the show each week, we talk about the fact that the reason we're here is to help connect the dots in real estate. So when I look around on social media and other places, I look for that realtor who's engaging with others, who's trying to help others to connect the dots, if you will. And this week's featured realtor of the week is Shannon Milligan, and she is with RVA Home Team out of Richmond, Virginia. And today I'm honored because we actually have her on the line. Shannon, are you with us?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good, Shannon. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for the great honor. That's super exciting.
Oh, no, hey, you've earned it. Again, I kind of found you, if you will, through social media. And, I immediately, anytime that there's a realtor or someone in the real estate industry that's putting out content and engaging with others and helping connect the dots in real estate, I'm on it. I'm always looking for something else that will help me in this business, especially being so young in the real estate industry. And I don't mean by how old I am, but how long I've been in it. So, but one of the things that is super cool about you is that you're so relaxed in helping others and training others online in your live broadcast. And I have to mention my favorite one, which is Wind Down Wednesday. Maybe you'll tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, that's tonight. I'm actually working on my show script right now. By script, I just mean some bullet points. It's a weekly show on my Facebook page where I just sit back with a glass of wine or a glass of rum usually and enjoy time with friends. I have a little bit of a real estate game usually peppered in there, but it's just really relationship building, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it really feels more like a social time for those brief moments, and it's nice because you can maybe talk about some, things that are business related, but it's very casual, and it's sort of like a, kind of like a sigh of just relaxation, and you're a great host for that show. Also, real quickly, tell us, because I think you have some exciting news about an upcoming event. Maybe tell us real quickly what you're going to be doing, and then we're going to wrap up the show.
Great. Yes, myself and 4 of my fellow founders of the Snap Pack, which is a private real estate group that if anybody's in real estate, they're more than welcome to join. We'll accept you. We are going to be speaking at Mason McDuffie's Mortgage Conference. It's a national conference. It's going to be in Lake Tahoe in April. I'm going to be speaking on video, while my fellow founders are going to be speaking on everything from blogging to strategic strategies that they can use in real estate for lenders and agents. And it's a really exciting time, and I'm very honored to be a part of it.
Well, congratulations. And viewers, if you're in that area, make sure that you get over to that conference. And also, for all of you that are watching right now live on Facebook, connect with Shannon Milligan on Facebook. Look at the groups that she's in and watch her Wind Down Wednesday. You can watch it tonight at 7 o'clock, Eastern, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on the show. Do me a favor and go get something under contract, please.
I will, David. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you have an awesome day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Well, that's a wrap. I thought it was a great show. Don't forget to reach out to Sean V. Bradley, get his book, Win the Game of Googleopoly. And until next week, we will see you later. I'm out.